Hey everybody, welcome back to Investing with Wesley. In my last episode, I told you exactly what the credit reporting agencies are looking for and how to increase your credit score rapidly. In this episode, I want to talk to you about exactly what I did when I first started out and had zero credit history and how I've managed to build it all the way to an over 800 score today. Let's get into it. Okay, so when I first started in trying to build my credit history, I had zero credit whatsoever, as we all do at some point in our lives. But I also had terrible luck because every time I applied for what would be considered a beginner's credit card, I just had zero luck and would consistently get denied. I tried applying to a Home Depot credit card, a Target credit card, Walmart, Best Buy, you name it. I tried applying to all the different retailers' credit cards. And every single time, because I had zero history to show, I got denied. So because I was tired of getting denied by these retail shops and I was really eager to try and build my credit history, I decided to settle for the First Progress secured credit card. Now, I don't even know if First Progress is still around anymore, but that's what I started out with. I gave First Progress a check for $400 and that became my credit limit because that's how secured credit cards work. Now, knowing my credit limit was $400, I knew I couldn't put more than $120 on it at any one time without paying it off in full. And that's because I was trying really hard to keep all of my spending under that 30% threshold. But because $120 is a relatively small number, I really only put gas and a little bit of candy here and there on that credit card just to put some spending on it, and then I would pay it off in full completely at the end of the month. Now, after doing this for about 3 or 4 months, I went to Kevin's Jewelers and I bought a $500 ring. So after about the first 4 or 5 months, I now had 2 different things reporting on my credit report. I had an installment loan with a jeweler company and a credit card. Both of those I set up autopay so I was never late on any payments. And I just naturally left the autopay alone to pay these things off over time. And in about another 6 months from when I purchased that ring, I checked my credit report using Credit Karma and I saw that I had about a 705 credit score. So me wanting to capitalize on this credit score, I decided to apply for another credit card. In this case, I applied for the American Express Green Card, which is actually not a credit card but a charge card. And the only difference between a charge card and a credit card is that a charge card has no credit limit, but it has to be paid off in full every month, whereas a credit card has a limit and you can make payments on that over time. So now with this charge card in hand, I no longer was putting any money on my First Progress secured credit card. Instead, I was putting everything I spent onto this charge card, and then at the end of every month paying it off in full. Now, the whole reason I did this way is because I knew I had no credit limit on this card, but that I had to pay it off in full every month. So because I knew that, I decided to put as much money as I could onto this card with my average ordinary spending that I would be spending money on anyway, and try and capitalize on some of the reward points it would give me. Now, because I got approved for that charge card, my credit took a hit because of that hard inquiry. So my credit score went from about 705 down to about 685 or 690. But after a couple months of me continuously paying everything off in full or on time, it went right back up and surpassed 705 to where then I was sitting at about a 720. Now, once my credit score hit 720, I wanted to drop my beginner accounts and start focusing on credit cards that I would have for years upon years upon years. And little did I know, but this was mistake number 1. I applied for the Chase Freedom card, and although I got approved and my score again took a hit because of a hard inquiry, I then made the mistake of closing out my First Progress credit card, which, as you remember, was my oldest credit card account. Because I closed this account, my average age of credit history completely tanked and my credit score dropped a lot. At this point, we were at about a year and a half in from having zero credit score whatsoever to now having a 720 credit score, or what was a 720 credit score before I made my first mistake. So now on to my second mistake. I used my new Chase Freedom card with the 0% interest for the first 12 months on all purchases to go and purchase a new bed. Now, if you watched my previous episode, you'll know that that was a mistake because I almost maxed out that credit card just to purchase that mattress. So again, my credit report took another hit and lowered my score even further. Now, fast forwarding a couple months to where I'm continuously making payments on time or paying my charge card off in full, it was slowly going back up, but it wasn't leaping up like it used to in the past. And this is because I was still utilizing a large majority of my available credit. I was nowhere near that 30% threshold. I think I was upward towards the 80% threshold. Now, after about another 6 months of just paying things on time or paying my charge card off in full, when my credit score eventually went back up into the 700s, I noticed that I wasn't really getting that much reward points on the American Express Green Card, and that I wanted something that had more bang for its buck and would give me more reward points. So I made yet another mistake. Instead of just requesting an upgrade to go from the green card to their gold card, I decided to apply for the gold card. When I got approved for that gold card, I closed my green card's account. Now, this is a mistake because one, if I would have upgraded, the average age of credit history would have remained the same because the green card upgrading to the gold card would still mean my account was open way back when. But because I closed out of the green card account and opened up a new gold card account, my average age of credit history again took a large hit. Now, it was shortly after this happened that I finally paid off that ring. And paying that ring off, although it did close that account, boosted my credit score because it showed that I had something that I fully paid off. And honestly, from the moment that happened, not much happened for about another year and a half. A year and a half later, the car I was driving just completely fell apart, and it was time to trade that in and buy a new car. Now, at the time, I made the mistake of actually buying a brand new car instead of a used car, but at the time I didn't know the benefits of buying a used car and just how quickly the value of a new car drops. But this is a credit score video, not a financial mistake video, so I bought that new car and I financed it, and that was the next event that happened on my credit history. Now, because this was the very first auto loan that had ever appeared on my account, even though my credit score was about a 725 at this point, I still managed to get an 8% interest on this car loan. And that's because at that point, I only had credit cards reporting on my credit report. Shortly after I got that car, I paid off the credit card I used to buy that mattress in full. This again really boosted my credit score because it showed my credit utilization all the way down at 0 instead of the 80% that it started out with. Now, it was at this point of me making my auto payment on time as well as paying in full all my credit cards that I managed to hit that 740 credit score mark, where I was able to get really good interest. So just as a recap, within the first 2.5 years of ever starting my credit history, I managed to go from no credit history whatsoever to finally hitting that 740 credit score mark. And honestly, if my memory serves right, I didn't do anything in regards to my credit for years. I think it was at least 3 or 4 years before I finally got any more credit cards and then eventually bought a house and got another auto loan. To this day, I still have and use my American Express Gold Card and my Chase Freedom Card because they're the oldest cards on my account, and I will never close them because they really help my average age of credit history. I stayed anywhere from 740 to 780 in my credit score, and only after a couple months of paying on the house that I bought did I finally cross over that 800 credit score number. Like I said in my previous video, paying your payments on time, keeping low credit utilization, and spreading out your credit across a bunch of different kinds of accounts to include homes, auto loans, installment loans, and credit cards. That's the key to getting that 800 score. But like I just told you in this story, it only took me 2.5 years to go from 0 credit at all the way up to 740, where I could really negotiate with some really good interest rates. I hope this story helped you, and I really hope it's encouraged you to start your credit journey today and really work on your credit history and your credit score. Because honestly, once you hit that 740 credit mark, the skies are the limit, and you could really get some really good interest and make some really good deals, especially if you're like me, who always seeks to benefit and to save and invest as much money as possible into the future. I hope you got value from this video. If you did, please remember to like and subscribe because it really helps the YouTube algorithm push this channel and have this channel get out there. I have a dedicated Facebook and Instagram account. I don't post there too often, but if you ever had a question, comment, or just wanted something addressed, it's a lot easier and more organized to message me there than to tag and link everyone down here in the comments section. Either way though, the choice is yours, and I'll see you in the next episode.